I do wonder with A&M to that rat poison theory is just if they are to be ones who win this football game, it's going to probably have to be an ugly matchup. Let's talk about A&M and Auburn. Is this the same A&M team of the past? That's the question we have. Because Auburn, coming off of that Oklahoma game, they have a ton of dynamics working against them, having to go to Kyle Field. Jackson Arnold, you're not feeling comfortable with. Your offensive line just gave up 10 sacks. You just got screwed by play call after play call on the field by the referees, which, by the way, I do wonder what kind of makeup calls could we potentially see here for Auburn. That's a factor. But truthfully, the theory that's in play here is, are you sipping your own rat poison? Or the rat poison theory. And if you've not watched college football long enough, let me explain it to you. You just won a top 10 road matchup for the first time in over 10 years. Well, more specifically, since it was a top 10 matchup for over 25 plus years. Then you go into a bye week. And all of a sudden, you're a player on the team and you're feeling yourself. You're sitting there on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and everyone's telling you Texas A&M, this is a different version. They're not going 8-4. They are a team that is living up to the hype for the first time in the Mike Elko era. Or really, over the past 10 years, they're living up to the hype. They're a college football playoff team. And you listen to that, you internalize that. Maybe you don't practice as hard. Maybe you don't watch that extra hour of film. You're starting to believe your own hype. You're sipping the Kool-Aid. All of a sudden, Cam Coleman goes for 75 yards and a touchdown, and you are looking around, realizing you've just stepped into a trap. Because I do think Auburn's going to need a very quick start here. And I think they need to stay away from passing downs because Jackson Arnold has been terrible when they've been behind the sticks. We've been looking at bottom 3 in the SEC. Their defense hasn't even been that great in passing downs. They've been pretty good against the run, best in the SEC. And that will get tested with Marcel Reed, Reuben Owens, Le'Veon Moss, and Amari Daniels. You have 4 runners right there. And we still have not seen what we projected was going to be this elite rushing attack from Texas A&M. We know they're explosive. They can create explosives. And if you're an A&M fan, you're feeling really good about that, knowing that you're playing an Auburn team that gives up explosives. They're susceptible to it. So can you continue that? But my question is maybe Auburn is able to break that trend a little bit. What does A&M look like on the offensive side of the ball then? Because I think they need precision from Marcel Reed to win this game. You cannot give Arnold the short side of the field. Make him beat you and sustain long drives, because Arnold, when he gets the ball, he looks at his first read. He will not get to that second one, and it will not be over the middle. I almost wonder if it's just best for A&M to go into that too high shell and basically force all the focus over the middle, because that's where Arnold plays his worst. And honestly, we could talk about the offensive line for Auburn being a weakness. I honestly think that's a pretty good unit. It's Arnold who holds the ball too long. And this is the moment where you look at Mike Elko, you look at Jay Bateman, and you say, do not make it simple for him. Make him think that extra second, because you got Cassius Howell. You got Hicks up the middle. You got guys that can get to the quarterback. You need him to be thinking a little bit more. You also need to watch out for an alien named Cam Coleman. An alien. Julio 2.0. Yeah, I said it. That dude is a freak of nature. Right there with Jeremiah Smith. And I've been talking about it since the offseason. Yeah, Ryan Williams is very good. And I think Ryan Williams is right up there in that 2027 draft class. But Cam Coleman, I think, is 2. That dude is a freak of nature. 6'3", runs basically any route you could want him to, and also runs like a 4.4. His catch radius is right there with like guys like AJ Green. The dude is a freak of nature. And he can be a game breaker. He could be the one that is the reason why we're looking at the fourth quarter. It's 20-27. A&M's down 7 because they just can't find an answer for Cam Coleman. Maybe it's Eric Singleton breaking a couple tackles. These things can happen. I do wonder with A&M, to that rat poison theory, is just if they are to be ones who win this football game, it's going to probably have to be an ugly matchup. I don't think they want to continuously be in shootout after shootout with the likes of like what we saw with Notre Dame. And I think they got to break the tendency with Auburn having this great rushing defense, pardon me. Because Oklahoma, as much as that was a test with the quarterback run, I really don't know if Auburn's been completely tested with a great rushing offense. To be fair, A&M hasn't been the greatest rushing offensive team in general. And there's so many signs pointing to Hugh Freeze and this offense and this team overall needing this win so much more. I don't know if they can afford a back-to-back loss at this point in the season, knowing what they have upcoming with Georgia, Bama still on the schedule, and many others in this SEC gauntlet. So that's a dynamic that we have to keep in consideration when making a prediction here. So why am I going Texas A&M? Well, A, because I am doing this to myself. If you do not watch the Stadium Pulse, or this is the first time you've watched, I'm a Texas A&M fan. And I did this prediction completely without bias. I think A&M's the better football team here. But there's a distinct factor of what A&M is. We can make the 8-4 jokes all we want. What A&M has had a problem with for previous iterations of coaches, they've been able to get big wins. They've also been able to get taken down by teams that they should be beating. They should beat Auburn. They should beat Arkansas on the road. They should beat Florida at home in a couple weeks. Are they a team that does not believe their own hype? Because I remember in those 2010s eras when they were wearing a new jersey every other week, and all of a sudden they can get a big win on the road. Maybe it was the first week of the season in a neutral site. And then all of a sudden, a couple weeks go by, they start 4-0, and all of a sudden they get bit by somebody. Maybe it's a Mississippi State. Are you going to get bit by Auburn, who is a talented program, who is desperate with a coach on the line? There's a lot of factors that point to Auburn potentially winning. I trust Mike Elko. And it's one of those things where if it was Jimbo Fisher, I'm picking Auburn by 7. If it was Kevin Sumlin, I'm picking Auburn by 14. Is Mike Elko different? We'll get that answer. We'll get that answer on Saturday.